This is going to be a small piece of something different, mostly because I cleared out all of the profiles I had. I reinstalled and updated a few things, including loot and the script extender itself. Reinstalled the game. I cleaned house, but with all the mods that were already in here, already still sitting here and organized, meaning I didn't have to go through all of this work again. Because that's worse than having to reinstall other shit, having to redo all of this. But doing this makes it, manageable, and when I do add new things, I know where the fuck I want to put them. But for people who use Mod Organizer for a Fallout game or Skyrim or something else, Starfield, Bethesda games are the things I use it for. But it can be used for others. That profiles are different and can make a difference in how you manage things. What I do so that I have clean bases to work from is I have the primary one, which is exactly what it is. It's the default with every mod I have enabled, checked on, so that loot can have sorted all of them and, body slid everything that I've got available that needs it. And then I copy it, create this, and disable all the things that I can't start a new game with safely. So, here down, because the animation framework, I saw in the notes about this stuff when I was first setting it up, is that do not have it enabled when you're first starting. So, after I'm away from the mirror, it's fine, but not at start. So all of the things that build on it are required have it as a requirement, so all of this stuff. Is disabled, and one vanilla mod, because this puts an item in your menu. So until I am out of, in my case, my alternate start, wherever I have that put me, then I have a new break, and then I enable that last thing and do the last bit of fussing with my inventory and settings now that I have all of my settings available. But so from this, I make this, which is just a copy of that, except this one I will use to start the game for the first time. I will go through the mirror, stand in the corner, because the alternate start just puts me at the mirror, and then when I walk out that room, or when I go to walk out of the bathroom, pre-war, I get, okay, now choose your stats and who you actually are, where you're actually starting, what level, all of that. But I use this just to get through the mirror, and then I stand in the corner, make a save, make a copy, pre-start settings, because then, except for that one mod, I enable everything, or at least everything I'm going to use. And then I stand there in the corner in the MCM, the mod menu, and fix all of my settings to where I actually want them to be for all of those. Some of them in the files that come out and get dumped into the overwrite and then get funneled into that output mod that I create, carry between profiles so I don't have to reconfigure them from scratch again. Others don't, so I do have to do some tweaks in profiles beyond the first, but since I deleted everything, I have to do that from scratch, which will take some time, but a lot of that time is not wasted when I eventually want to start a new character in a different place with a different ambition. So, some mods have their stuff carry across profiles and others don't. It is what it is. It's not ideal. Having some of them keep it is better than none, because that means I don't have to do everything from scratch every time. But so once I've gotten all of those done, then I make... So it'll go from pre-start to pre-start settings, which is where that one ends. Standing in the corner, but all the mods being arranged the way I want, being configured the way I want them. It will also retain my hotkeys, so I don't have to re-instruct it about those every time, so that's nice. And then the next save from that is if I'm playing with one or more mods that have you can go a few different directions, I may have an additional just start with the I am here and I haven't made a decision about which way I want to go about that yet. That's just getting me out into the Commonwealth somewhere, wherever that's going to be, and then I enable that last mod and do any tweaks that I'm going to do pre-start, like if I want to adjust the way my stats are actually done, or any other little last-minute fussing. And then have a separate profile for play, because it gives me different points I can very cleanly backtrack to make a very different character if I want, other than the looks. The looks, I mean, I have looks menu, so I can just go in and alter that as well. And there are also things that let you do that properly, and mirrors that you can add into the game. So even that isn't fixed, but yeah, I end up with multiple profiles leading to a given point. And if I am updating a mod that requires a clean save, or removing one that can leave baggage, I will go back to that pre-start or the pre-start settings, depending, because if the mod's been activated but it hasn't actually introduced anything into the game world yet, it might be okay, but rolling back to where this ends up, which is in the corner with none of those mods activated yet, is the safer place to be. And then, again, it helps that some of the mods remember what I told them. So, because this is the point I'm at with this, I figured, why not actually talk my way through how I go about doing this, and then when I have like this 0.1 for whoever this ends up being, it'll be 0.1, then 11 for pre-start settings, 112 for if it's going to be separate. I've gotten it started, but I haven't actually made any decisions yet, and then it'd be 13 for the actual play. And then if I do a new one, it'll be 0.2 for that new pre-start. Either if I started from scratch at the mirror and then went into the corner, or if I duplicate this after getting into the corner with this appearance, because that's the only thing that's done, is you have gone through the mirror. If I'm fine with the way that one looks, or I'm willing to go into looks menu and change it, just duplicate that, 0.2, and then set up the alternate game settings for whoever else I'm making. But, yeah. And then, yeah, I like creating separators to keep things organized. And the empty mod that does not stay empty for long, because the script extender itself will give us stuff. Body slide will give us output. You get a few categories of things that end up in the overwrite, so I dump them all into one place rather than having them sit in the overwrite. Yeah, this is where I'm at. Doing this, setting up all those mods for the first time, I am not looking forward to, because there's a lot of them and a lot of settings that I don't even necessarily interact with often, but I want them to be in the place I want them to be for if and when they do come up. So the initial setup is labor intensive. That's really the biggest downside to have decided to start fresh, is that I don't have my mod settings. Once I'm there, all of the other reset up stuff is so much better. Yeah. And there's a not small number of things, most of which don't have like settings in the mod manager. They just exist. So there are plenty of things that don't, but there's also a fair number that do. And some of them get really into the weeds with how specific they are about a wide variety of things. And, that's not a bad thing. It just means it takes time to get through them all. and decide which ones you even care about for this character or in general. Some of them I have specific ways I want to go about regardless of character. Others I do actually customize depending on who I think I'm going to be trying to play.